Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our channel. Welcome back to another video. Alrighty, you guys. It is day number 8 of the Love Dare, the 40 Days of Love. We are moving right along. So we have finished up our very first week of the Love Dare, and we are now on. We're starting into week number 2, and I'm excited about it. I don't know if you are. I always get excited about marriage. Um, it's one of those things that my heart gravitates towards, and I'm very thankful for it. So thank you guys so very much for joining me. I'm in a different spot tonight. I'm just sitting in this chair. We're going to go back and recap day 8. Day number 9 is going to be so short. I promise y'all. I promise. And I try not to lie on Sundays. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be very short because it's one specific concept that we're going to be working on tonight. So for tomorrow. Hey, ma'am, how are you? Hey, everybody, please just chime in and let me know where you're. Hey, Angela. Hey, friend. Hey, one. Okay, y'all. So many names, and I don't have my glasses on. But hey, y'all, I'm glad you're here. Glad you're joining me. We do have a lot of new folks in various places. I know my Instagram has picked up a little bit lately. And then even on Facebook, we've gained a ton of people. So thank y'all all so very much for joining us. Now let's look at the dare for day 8, which was today. Today's dare was to determine to become your spouse's biggest fan and to reject any thoughts of jealousy. Because we do know that jealousy is called that green-eyed monster. We can see something that somebody else has and want that, even our spouses. I think a lot of that has to do, I see this in certain spaces, and I am unsure how this works. But there are some marriages that are totally separate. We're married, but we don't live together. If we live together, we don't have the same bedroom. He got his space, I got my space. I got my own money. It's not to be mixed with your money. Yet, nobody's ever been able to explain this to me. Yet, I can commingle my bodily fluids. I can let you do all the things, but I can't commingle my money. We can't stay in the same house. How is that a thing? It is just foreign to me, but to some people I know it works out. I was watching something the other day, and there was this lady. She said, I live here, my husband lives there. He has a life and I have a life. And I just sat there and I went, oh my God. So when do we ever come together? When is there ever a togetherness? If he has his stuff and I got my stuff, do we ever, and we live on totally opposite sides of the country, when do we ever come together? I guess it's a new thing. Some people live in duplexes. The wife lives on one side, the husband lives on the other side. And they're just as happy to do it. And then again, so whenever something's happened at one house that's not happening at the other house, it just lends to a lot of jealousy, a lot of stuff. I don't know who's coming over. It doesn't have to be jealousy over stuff. It can be jealousy over people. I don't know what's going on in your life. I saw somebody's car at your house. The neighbor told me. Or I looked on the camera. Who's at your house this time of the month? All kinds of crazy stuff that can just be popping off because we're so separate. And the Bible says, and the two shall become one. How did we get separate when we should have been one altogether? Anyhow, I'm gonna move right along. Leave people alone to do whatever you choose. I'm not going to be separate from my husband. We're going to be one unit. So to help you set your heart on your spouse and focus on their achievements, take yesterday's list of negative attributes and discreetly burn the list. Then share with your spouse how glad you are about a success or blessing that he or she has recently enjoyed. Did anybody do their dare for the day? Now, listen, again, we're going to talk about this very quickly because I want to make sure that you understand why you're here. If you're here to spectate, this is not a spectator sport. This is not a spectator study. This is something that I'm actually agreeing to do. Now, for those of you who just out here watching, very good. But if you have determined to do this dare, then you have to do it. And you have to do it with fidelity. Honestly, you have to be open and honest with yourself about what you're doing, and you have to jump in. You have to do each of the dares, and you have to keep doing them until you get them all done. That's how it works. It's very progressive and it moves right along. So, again, most of us can say all the negative things about our spouse. Hey, ma'am, but did we take that list and then burn it? Right? Because it doesn't matter what their negative attributes are. Now, again, I'm not talking about anybody that's being mistreated. I'm not talking about anybody, any of that, anything like that. If that is happening to you, my encouragement is to get to safety, get away from where you are, go to your local fire department, police department, or hospital and ask for help. Just get away from that. I'm just talking about people who have been together so long that we stop doing all the things, or we're always looking for something to go wrong. Or the people who haven't been together long enough and they're looking for a way out. So, these are the people that I'm talking to. Or the ones who always find in fault with somebody. I look at people that are married sometimes, and I'm going, God, there's got to be, God has to have the greatest reward for me, because I'm telling you, some of these people are just doing any and all types of things, and they got a husband, and I'm over here just trying to live my best life for the Lord, and I'm just a single dingleberry, and that's where it is. So, anywho, moving forward. All right, day number 9. Love makes good impressions. Love makes good impressions. I do want to start reading at 1 Samuel 25:6. So if you have your Bible, day 9 is an affection day. Now, I love day 9 because my love language is quality time and personal physical touch. I love, love, love to be touched in certain spaces. Now, I don't like to go and get a body massage. I don't want somebody rubbing all over my body. I don't necessarily like people rubbing my feet, although I will go and get a pedicure. I just don't. I see people rubbing each other's feet and stuff. I just don't. I'm not a feet person. Like, I don't need all of that. But I do. My favorite activity that involves touch is having my hand held. I love, love, love just to hold hands. It's just a personal connection. It's a deep thing. To me, it's a deep thing. It may not mean anything to anybody else. Just hold my hand. It just lets me know you're here. I enjoy just that physical touch part, but not everybody does. But today, day 9, I think this is our very first affection day where you're going to be doing something affectionate towards your spouse. I'm sorry, y'all. That is simply a tick. It is not. I'm not tired. I've been sitting in this chair and I've taken a little snooze. It's just something that happens when this camera comes on. 1 Samuel chapter 25, verse 6 says, and salute him thus. This is in the Amplified Classic Translation. Yours might read something different, especially if you're doing King James. And salute him thus. Peace be to you and to your house and to all that you have. So we're talking about today, as in 1 Peter 5:14 says, greet one another with a kiss of love. Today tomorrow, you're going to be daring your spouse by giving them a specific greeting. Now, most of us, back in the day when I was younger, I grew up with older grandparents. It was nothing for the wife to see the husband off to work and for her to receive her husband when he came home from work. Now everybody works. So the wife goes to work at a different time and the husband goes to work at a different time and she's sleeping in. Very few wives. I know it's a thing on TikTok and Instagram where you'll see these women say, welcome to me getting my husband's lunch ready at 3:30 in the morning. Let me tell you, that is a rarity because most of us at 3:30 in the morning is trying to be asleep. I love you. We roll over. Okay, be safe. and we back to sleep. You very rarely are we standing at the door waiting for him to come home with his bedroom shoes, just kind of, hey, your dinner's ready, your bath is poured, or whatever the case is, because we don't even get off till 6 and 7 and 8 o'clock at night. So it's a very different world that we're living in now than it used to be. However, if you go to page 41, they start off with kings bow while soldiers salute. Acquaintances wave while friends shake hands, and families embrace while lovers kiss. Greetings provide us with dynamic ways to encounter one another and show appropriate affection and respect. Now, I think this is the funniest thing ever. Y'all would have to know my sister to know this. But most days when she texts me on my phone or she calls me, she says, "Hey, Heifer, what you doing, Heifer?" And I'm like, really? Really? Heifer? That is her term of endearment for me. And I call her the same thing. What you doing, Heifer? We love each other. She's my sister. She's my closest, nearest and dearest, has been with me through the thick, the thin, the bad, the good, raising kids, all the things. We are one another's people. But my sister's not heavily affectionate, so it's very rare that you would see me go up and hug her, kiss her on the cheek or whatever. She just is not that type of individual. But in order for us to know that we jiving today, it's like, "Hey, Heifer, what you doing, girl?" That's our way to do it. How is it that you greet your spouse? It is nothing for us to, Sunday mornings at church. It was Sunday. Today is Sunday, and we go to church on Sunday mornings. Everybody in our church is a hugger. We're just like, "Good morning. Hey, how you doing?" Depending on who it is. Now, you might get a good old side hug, depending on who you are. But all of my girlfriends or sisters in Christ, I'm going to hug them up, and, we're going to talk about the week. The little kids, they'll even come and hug my leg, or some of them will give you nucks. It's just depends on the person. But do we know or realize, think about this in your own personal life. Some of us greet our spouses way different, if we greet them at all, than we'll greet total strangers. We esteem other people so much higher than our spouses. Now, again, you have to know your spouse, because your spouse may be like my sister. She's just not a physical, touchy-feely type of individual. Now, she will hug you if you want to be hugged, but I know her well enough to know that's not her jam, right? So I'm not even going to go in for a hug, although she did hug me this morning, but she had just hugged somebody else. So I thought I'd slip it in, right? Because it's just not her jam. But you have to know your spouse well enough to know how they want to be greeted. Some of us don't greet our spouses at all. When we text them on the phone, it's this is what we need. This is what I need you to pick up from the grocery store. It's nothing, even no endearment, no anything. And I wonder why that is. If you go back to 1 Samuel 25, chapter 25, verse 6, the Jewish custom when they walk into your house is to bless your house. And when they leave your house, they'll say, "Peace I leave in this space." And then they will bless your house as they're leaving. We don't bless our spouse to do nothing but get out of our face, because you are on my nerve right now, and I have had a long day, and I am tired, and I just don't need all of this. It may not even be when they come home. I'm just kind of picking and pulling out the book right now. He says, what about when you're just snuggled up at night? Or if you roll over first thing in the morning? I know everybody's dealing with morning breath, but listen, my breath stinks, your breath stinks, so it ain't like one is worse than the other. How do you greet your spouse in the morning? Do you wake up with them lovingly gazing in your eyes? Or are you waking up with drool sliding down their face and they calling 50 hogs? I mean, what is it? How do we let them know, hey, I feel a certain type of way about you that I don't feel about anybody else. And I want you to be aware of that. I want you to be mindful of that. I'm giving you everything that I have here that I would not give somebody else. They also say on 41, did you know that you can tell a lot about the current status of a couple's marriage by the way they greet one another? This is very true. If you have an observant personality, you can look at the married couples in your sphere of influence, either your parents, your siblings married, people that you know from your church that are married. I'm telling you, if you want to know how people are towards their spouse, just look at how they talk to each other. Look at how they greet each other. Look at how they are with each other in each other's company. Some spouses, they all over each other. And you like, Lord, please get a room because y'all just doing a whole lot right now. Some spouses come places and never say anything to each other, but they having a conversation with everybody else. Yes, I know we came together, but we also just had an argument in the car, so we are not going to speak to one another. Some people never, ever, ever have conversation with each other. It's like pulling teeth to have a conversation. We don't sit down at dinner together. You got your tray table, I got my tray table, you in the living room, I'm in the bedroom. We never cross each other's path. Look at how couples relate to each other, and you can probably almost 9 times out of 10 tell they don't get along. They don't like each other. Girl, they are in love. If it ain't like that, I don't want it. If my relationship ain't like, so you know who this person is. If it ain't like that, we don't want it. And you know what it is, and you know who it is. But look at how they greet each other. It says you can see it in their smile, hear it in their voice, and sense it in the tenderness of their touch or the lack thereof. Do you have couples that touch each other? I'm a touchy-feely type of person. I've tried to work on that over the years because I know everybody does not appreciate that. And also, I never want to give a person of the opposite sex the wrong thought process about me. I try to be careful with my greetings. In today's day and age, you got to be careful about everybody because you don't know who looking at you strange. So I try to kind of refrain from a lot of touchy-feely stuff, but I hug my kids, my close friends and stuff. I will do that. But there are some spouses that are just never, ever, ever intimate with each other in more than just the intimate way. Your source verses for today is 1 Thessalonians 3:12, Proverbs 5:18 through 21, Hebrews 13:4, and 1 Corinthians 7:3. So let's read a couple of these and then we're going to be done. Okay, I'm going to go to 1 Thessalonians 3:12. And I read some of these. I was like, oh, bless it. 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 12 says, and may the Lord make you to increase and excel you and overflow in love for one another and for all people, just as we also do for you. And may the Lord make you to increase and excel and overflow in love for one another and for all people. For one another, then all people, not everybody else, and then your spouse if you have anything left. He makes you to overflow with love with each other first, and then that's an outward flow or expression to everybody else. What I do in my household, I should then be able to take that and push it out into the atmosphere. In every place that I go, if there's unity here, then I should be taking that with me. It's the same with your kids. Some parents never, ever, ever, not one time hug their children. They never, ever, not one time tell them that they love them. They never, ever, not one time spend any quality time with their children. Why is that? What is your love deficiency that you can't show it to other people, or you are love deficient? But it's not because of Christ, because he is love. He is the epitome of love. He is the example, the express example of what love is like. So if you're unable to show it, it is probably because there's a deficiency in you. You were not shown it. Here's the one thing that I want to do more than anything else in my life, because I didn't have the best example. Listen to Shakima. I want my children to see physically with their eyes my husband loving me, not making love to me, loving me. Hugs, smooches, just coming up behind me in the kitchen while I'm cooking, just affection. I want them to see that. I never saw any of that growing up. My grandparents argued at each other and cussed each other out for 50 years. We all knew they loved each other because that was just the way they did it. But it was chaos. It was a lot going on. It was always fussing and fighting. My mom was not married, but she had different men, and it was just not a good situation. And there was a lot of fighting and all this. I never wanted my children to see any of that. But when I was married, my ex-husband, physical touch is not his jam. He did not desire touching me at all. So we were already at odds. I wanted to be touched. He didn't want to touch me. It just wasn't him. And so my kids really have never seen what a loving relationship looks like. Think about your children. Have they seen what a loving relationship looks like? Or do they only understand arguing, fussing, fighting, cussing, and all this? What do your kids associate marriage with? I grew up thinking it was arguing, fussing, and fighting. My ex-husband did not grow up like that. So when we got married, it was already crazy because I thought he don't love me. He doesn't fight with me at all. Hey, now, how are you? So again, you got to think about that. But he says, and may the Lord make you increase and excel and overflow in love for one another. Listen, I hear people all the time saying, I just fell out of love. No, 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 no. Go back to 1 Thessalonians 3:12. It says, and may the Lord make you increase and excel and overflow in love for one another. And that means you can be in love the whole time, all the time. Now, again, there's some things I may not like about my spouse. There's some ways that they might have, some idiosyncrasies that I don't appreciate, but it does not do anything to decrease my love. I love them because the Lord loves me, and he allows me to then take that love he gives me and give it to other people. And I need a loving relationship that shows me. I need reciprocity in that. I'm not taking what I had before. That wasn't good for me. So I have boundaries. I have deal breakers. I got them because I didn't get the experience I wanted for those 18 years. And I want it now in this next phase of life for myself. Okay. Proverbs 5. This is probably one of my favorite verses as well, because we always sell the Lord short. We sell God short on what we can have in our marriages. And I don't think we should. This is 18 through 21. Let your fountain of human life be blessed with the rewards. I don't like that one. Okay, I'm going to go to a different translation. Sorry, so reading something different. Okay, this is in the Passion Translation. I was reading that earlier. It says, my son, share your love with your, oh no, that was 15. Okay. 18. Your sex life will be blessed as you take joy and pleasure in the wife of your youth. Let her breast be your satisfaction, and let her embrace intoxicate you at all times. Be continually delighted and ravished with her love. My son, why would you be exhilarated by an adulteress? And we hear all the time, she wasn't doing what I needed to do, so I had to go find somebody who would, or I just fell out of love. Do y'all know I pray this, that my husband would always find comfort here? I pray, Lord, let him find comfort here. May he not desire any other woman to this degree, this realm. May he always find pleasure in me and me alone. May I be everything he needs me to be, whether I know it already going into it or he has to teach me the things. I just pray that. And we say, well, if he can cheat still, yes, if he wants to, but he doesn't have to, because the Bible tells me, and I think it's Ephesians, I know it's in James, that the prayer of the righteous availeth much. The fervent effectual prayer, James 5:16, I believe, the fervent effectual prayer of the righteous availeth much. I'm praying this, and I pray this quite often because I'm older. I'm 48. My birthday's in a few weeks. I'll be 49. My body looks like I'm 49. I've had 4 kids, so I got stretch marks and all the things. Honey, I don't look like, I'm not 36, 24, 36. I wish. I'm working on it, but that's not my testimony. So what I pray is, God, in my current state that I am, may my sex life be blessed as I take joy and pleasure in my husband and he in me. I pray that. And you can as well. Well, I'm just too fat. Well, I'm just too this and I'm just too that. I've said all the things. At 250 pounds, I didn't feel like anybody would want me. I found out there's a whole group of people that just like big girls anyway. I didn't know any of them, but hey, there's a whole group of people out here that do. I wasn't comfortable with me. So I changed something about me because I do want to be pleasurable. I do want to be um um make a good impression on my spouse. All the things. When I get up in the morning and I get dressed, this morning I put on smell goods. I did my hair, I put my makeup on. I wore nice earrings. I'm always trying to make a good impression. Well, you just want other people to look at you. No, really, I just want to have eyes for my husband. If other people see me, very good, but I don't get dressed for them. And this is why I always talk about the yoga pants committee, right? Put on something other than yoga pants. He probably would want to see you in something else. We are making a good impression everywhere we go. Now, listen, you can wear yoga pants. Just put on a nice long tunic, put on a jacket, a pair of tennis shoes, some Chucks, probably. Do your hair up real cute, do your earrings up real cute, and go on out the house. You looking real straight. But to be looking real raggedy in them same yoga pants that you had on for 3 days, which means you probably didn't wash your never mind. Okay, we are not making a good impression anywhere. And I'm not coming for anybody. I'm just telling you what is out here. And I see this stuff and I still go to God. And I say, Lord, how is it that I'm out here working my behind off, not working so he can do something for me, but I am investing and investing and investing. And these people got women. I mean, these women got husbands and I ain't got nothing but these dogs. Yeah, that's what I got. Millie and Molly. Millie and Molly. That's what I got. That's what I go to bed to every night. I'm crunched up in the middle. Crunched up. You know what I'm saying? And I can't understand it. And it's not for me to understand. What it is for me is to practice patience, but to do all of the things that I believe that God has called me to do, right? Hebrews 13:4. Hebrews 13:4. And I'm a child. Listen. Hebrews 13:4. Walking around here smelling like you ain't took a bath in weeks and you got a man and I ain't got nobody. Honor the sanctity of marriage and keep your vows of purity to one another. For God will judge sexual immorality in any form, whether married or single. Here's the thing. There is intimate love relations was created by God, and it is a good thing. And if you know what you're doing, it can be a great thing, right? But that's not the only time that God wants us to be intimate. And sometimes because that is the only place that we are intimate, we're missing pieces. And then we go out and we find it in other places. And we can't figure out why, or we don't know what we did or what we said or why they don't want to be with us. Well, we're not doing anything we don't greet them. We don't touch them. We don't hug them. We don't do anything. See, the problem that we have is called familiarity. We are so familiar with these people, and all we want to do is pay these bills. I need somebody that can pay these bills. That's why when people ask me, do I need a man? I get my answer be a little bit like, ooh, see, where I come from, to need a man meant I couldn't pay my bills. And everybody that I knew needed a man to pay their bills. That is not my testimony, and never shall it be, because the Lord has graced me to be able to work. Now follow what I'm telling you, because I don't want to alienate anybody. I don't want anybody to think, oh, she's just strong, independent Black woman. She don't need nobody. That's not what I'm saying. Where I grew up, if you needed a man, it was because you could not take care of your bills. Every first of the month, except this last one because I did forget, but y'all help me out. Every first of the month, my bills are paid. So I don't need a man to pay my bills. Do I need him? Yes. I need him to understand what life is like without the pressure of the bills. I got us on my side. You got us on your side. Very good. Now we shouldn't have any financial problems. at all. If you already taking care of you and I'm already taking care of me, and we take two households and combine them into one, we've already multiplied ourselves. So we shouldn't be in any financial strain. So I need my man to feel the freedom of no pressure of having to pay my bills. But I need so much more than that. I need intellectual conversation, intellectual stimulation. You want to stimulate all the other stuff. Can you make love up here? Just talk to me in full sentences. Just text me in full words, because all these little characters and numbers and crazy little emoji things, that just bothers my spirit. Like, why are we doing this? I am going to be 50 and you sending me a little emoji? Stop it. Don't do it again. Okay, moving on. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Okay, let me see. On 41 still says, some people don't greet warmly because they feel insincere. They claim, I'm being true to how I feel inside, but there are many good reasons to be kind even when feelings are contrary. Love being the greatest reason of all. While greetings can reflect what's currently happening in a relationship, they can also become a loving investment into its future health, right? I am investing now. I may not always feel like greeting my husband, but I'm going to do it anyway because I am investing now what I'm planning to withdraw a little later. I'm putting into his emotional love tank. I am filling him up. So when I need a withdrawal of that emotional love, he gives it back to me. So everything we do is a give and take. It's a sow and reap. If you sow here, then I should be able to reap from this, and not just in the physical sense. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to move on. I must move. Let me see. He talked about on 42, right? When we don't have an expectation of that greeting. He talked about the prodigal son, how the prodigal son told his dad, listen, you talking a whole lot of stuff. I'm not trying to hear none of that. Just go ahead and give me my money so I can just get up out of here and go live my life, right? We have heard that. Lots of kids have said that to their parents. Just, I'm leaving. I'm not trying to live by your rules no more. I'm going to go do what I want to do. Well, we know if you've read that story, and maybe you haven't, but it goes a little something like this. He gave the kid the money. He didn't argue with him. He was like, okay, well, whatever. Here's your inheritance. Go do what you want to do. He spent all of his money on women, lasciviousness, riotous living, all the things. He was partying like it was 1999. And then all of a sudden, he was like that MC Hammer, honey. They done used up all your money. Now your friends are gone. When all the money was gone, when nobody around that was partying with him before. So all the money's gone, and he finds himself eating with the pigs. He's working for somebody when he didn't have to work, first of all. Now he's eating with the pigs. And he says to himself, even the slaves in my father's house eat better than this. I'm going to go back to my father and ask him if he'll let me work for him. He was going to sell himself back into servitude. And he says in the chapter here that he practiced how he was going to greet his father and apologize for being ridiculous, apologize for demanding his daddy money. Listen, I ain't even gone nowhere yet, and you want my money? He practiced over and over and over and over again. And so even on his way, when he left the pig pen, even on his way, he's practicing how he's going to say that. He's like, no, that don't sound right. Oh, okay, let me say it like, no, ooh, that's not a good one. Okay. So dad, he's practicing it. But what we know from the story is that as soon as the son left, the father was standing on watch waiting for the son to come back. I don't know if he thought he was coming back or knew he was coming back, but for something in him said, I got to watch for my kid. And the Bible tells us, even from a long ways off, he saw his son returning, and he jumped down from his position of watchman, went all the way flying down the lane to meet his son, embraced him with the biggest embrace. And the son can't even get a good word in edgewise. He can't even say nothing to the dad because I am here and I am. And he didn't expect none of it. He knew he was going to have to get on his knees and grovel and ask his dad to let him work for him. And that's not how it went. His dad embraces him and restores him fully. He says, bring the robe, bring the ring, and kill the calf. My son is home. And I'm not telling you, you got to have a robe and a ring and a calf. But what I'm saying is, when this person has gone out because they love you so dearly and they love their family so dearly and they work, and they do all the things, and to come home and nobody's even there. Here's what we can do. Let me give you just a little thought, maybe. Perhaps he is coming home around 5:30, but you got to go out with daughter or son to their after school activities, and you're just not going to be there when he gets home. Perhaps you just right there where the crock pot is, you might leave a little note, or he's got to take a shower because he stank. He does a manual labor job. He comes home and he really just wants to go and freshen up and be clean. So you put a little note of thanks or a note of whatever you want to say at the shower, where he's going to go ahead and take the shower. Or, after he's had his shower, he's going to sit down at his chair and put his TV on. So you put a little sticky note on his little remote control, something that says, I am so thankful that you are here with us in this house. I am so thankful that God blessed me with a man who does all the things that you do. Do we not know how far that would go to building up that person's emotional love tank? Because once their tank is full, right? What happens when your gas tank is full and you keep pumping? It's going to begin to overflow. And so if we keep putting in, eventually it's going to spill back out, not just on you, but on your kids and on your family and on people they work with. They're going to be so pleasing at work. They're pleasing personality. They're going to be up for promotion. Look what all you're doing to help invest for the things that are going to come in the future. None of us know. But I do know this: where we sow, we reap. Where you invest, you can always, there should be a return on that investment. That's the reason you invest. Okay, I'm done. Oh, this was good. I thought this was good. He says a good greeting sets the stage for positive, healthy interactions. Like love, it makes a person feel valued and puts wind in their sails for better moments ahead. On the next page, it says, what kind of greeting would cause your mate to feel like that? To feel treasured again, to feel deeply loved. And this is in relation to the prodigal son. What kind of greeting would cause your mate to feel like that? How could you excite his or her senses with a kinder word, a more affectionate touch, a more gracious tone of voice? Some of us, all we do is talk. I have one aunt and I love her dearly, but my Aunt Fran is loud. She talks loud, and it's not because she's angry. Again, we grew up in such volatile household. You had to talk loud to talk over the foolishness. She just talks very loud. Now, to normal people, we like, oh my God, what's wrong with her? Something's wrong. Oh my God. But to her, it's just normal. Tone it down a little bit, right? Focus, make it up in your mind. I'm gonna tone this down just a tiny little bit. I already know I'm on a 10 all the time. I'm gonna practice being on an 8. I'm gonna practice an 8 because an 8 might be better. A loving greeting is a gift you can give your spouse every day by what they see, hear, and feel. It is priceless in value while costing you nothing. To greet them, it costs you nothing. Nothing but time, effort, energy. Can I say this? We are doing a lot of scrolling of crazy stuff on our phones. But I tell people all the time, you looking for date night ideas, go to TikTok and just put in date night ideas over 40. If you want to know how to greet your spouse, just put how to greet my spouse. It just put it in Google. If you're not creative enough to come up with it, put it in Google. Here's the thing. If you know your husband has a very high drive and you do too, trench coat. I went to the Goodwill the other day and found a trench coat for $5. All you need is a trench coat. Just greet that. I don't know what that says to your spouse, but I'm sure they could think of things. You got to know your person. You have to know what would excite them, what would give them back, especially if you done had a headache for 3 weeks. I mean, good God, just go to the Goodwill and find you a trench coat. Do that. Just go to the little TikTok shop and get one of them cute little knotted things. Just get a little knotted thing. Y'all ain't got no kids yet? Good. Very good. Don't have none for as long as you can. At least a year. If you just got married and you don't have children, I say give yourself at least a year to 3 years before you have children, because children change the game. Let's get to know each other. Let's get loving on each other. Let's get really solid with each other before we start adding little crumb snatchers. I mean, kids to the mix of things. So I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm just telling you that it is beneficial to do it. This was good. He says, since we each have no guarantee of tomorrow, every new day with our spouse is a gift from God for us to cherish and enjoy. Remember that love is a choice, so choose to love them at hello. Now, your dare for tomorrow, day number 9. You're very welcome, ma'am. Think of a specific way you'd like to greet your spouse today. Do it with a smile and with enthusiasm. Then determine to change your greeting to daily reflect more love for them. Now, one of the funniest ones on TikTok, and I don't know if this is a greeting or whatever, but one of the funniest ones is the TikToks where the husband is walking in the house and the wife throws her clothes because she's cooking in the buff. And the husband, he's just having a conversation. He might be on the phone. He bringing in groceries. And all of a sudden, he's like, babe, where the kids? Oh, they at my mama house. You know what I'm saying? But get creative in how you want to greet your spouse. It's okay. It's okay with your spouse. Now, I'm not talking about your boyfriend or somebody you engage it to. We not betrothed until I'm talking about who he is married to. Yes, you do and they do and everybody did. Okay, those are the people. But I look forward to all of these things, and I just store little things in my little bank for when I'm gonna need them. I just put it right back there. I might need that sometime. I don't know when, but I might need it. So I just stick it right back there, and I pull it out when it's necessary. So that's your dare for tomorrow, is a greeting affection day, and try to keep it going, right? Don't just do it tomorrow for the dare. We're going to change our habits. It takes 21 days to form a habit. You got 32 more days on this dare. You can form a different habit by the end of the challenge. So there it is, you guys. I said I won't gonna be long, and I'm 42 minutes. Y'all pray my strength. Okay. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Here's what I need you to do. Like the video, share, subscribe. You guys, what I'm noticing is I'm getting a lot more views, specifically on Facebook right now, but Instagram, my views are coming up. They are increasing on Instagram as well. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing the videos, for liking, for following, for doing all the things. Again, if you're here because your marriage could use some help, I know you know somebody whose marriage could use some help. And so what better way than to share these teachings? They're good for what they're good for. Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate. Okay, I love you guys. I got to go get my own personal reading because I'm doing Becoming the Woman I Want to Be. So as I'm leading you through this marriage, I'm doing something for Shakima so that I can be the woman I want to be when my husband comes to find me. Anywho, love you guys. You all have a great evening, and I will see you all back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. for day number 9 recap and day 10 prep. Love you guys.